right, good morning and welcome to PMB Morning Show, where politics meets business and the real issues take center stage. Today, we are looking at two stories that define the state of the nation. Firstly, the outcome of the convention of the embattled ADC. And secondly, 12 years after the kidnap of the Chibok schoolgirls. All right, political party convention is one of the processes that is designed to elect different aspirants into leadership positions. However, the case of the ADC is said to be one that was characterized by too many challenges. Now the long-awaited convention has come and gone, despite all odds, thereby raising some questions. What are the challenges ahead? Are we likely going to see another face-off of drama in the ADC? Is the ADC truly becoming a political opposition force to the ruling APC? Let's keep our hands crossed as the political events unfolds. At the same time, away from the ADC, the prevailing insecurity in our nation, or rather on our nation, has dealt terribly in the lives of the citizens. With reference to the Chibok girls 12 years after adoption, somewhere in Borno State, Nigeria. Today, what has changed? Why the adoption of mostly school girls? These are some concerns we shall be looking at as we progress. This morning, we connect the dots between leadership, accountability, and delivery. Because in the end, governance is not just about winning elections, but it's about making life better. Stay with us. We shall be back, to look at the newspaper that we have right in front of us. I am Chidi Kenneth, and as usual, I have my colleague and co-host, Mr. Ibrahim Shaibu. Good morning, Mr. Ibrahim.
Good morning, Mr. CK.
Happy, very wonderful Wednesday morning.
Thank you too.
And the morning seems to be cloudy. It's like the rains are, getting ready to fall.
Exactly, such a lovely weather.
Lovely weather indeed.
Exactly. So
well, lovely. We are here in the studio.
Yes.
Why some people are still sleeping?
Yeah, of course. That is because we have to be here to enlighten people.
We have to be here
to tell them what their country is all about this early morning.
And despite all odds, the ADC convention
took place.
The almighty embattled. In fact, when I was watching it yesterday, there was one particular song they were singing all through. The DJ was playing "Stand Up, Stand Up." Okay. For the champion, champion.
They have already declared ADC to be the champion so far, or what?
Well, that champion in the sense that
that remains to be seen.
No, you don't understand. I think the idea behind playing that song is after all odds. Do you know the kind of challenges ADC went through before this convention? In fact, I saw the letter written to the Minister of FCT, Mr. Project, Wike, to grant them access to the Eagle Square. I saw the acknowledgement copy. I read it. I also saw, a lot of the FDC was really, really embattled until that yesterday.
But and finally, they are still not yet free from the challenges. The convention had taken place, yes, but this convention still has some challenges around it.
Well, let's see. That will form the basis of our major discussion today.
Exactly. So
we are going to look, and today we have so many dailies, newspapers there. And let's see what the newspaper has for us this morning. And but before then, we shall be going on a short break. But when we return, we'll dive straight to the newspaper review. Once again, this is PMB Morning Show. Stay tuned. We shall be right back. All right, welcome back. This is the PMB Morning Show, and we're going to go straight to the newspaper review this morning. My name is still Chidi Kenneth. I'm your host this morning, and I still have Mr. Ibrahim Shaibu. Mr. Chabot, let's see what the newspaper has for us this morning.
Exactly.
Maybe the newspapers, let's see, because
I believe they will carry a lot of exciting headlines this morning,
yes,
particularly following the ADC convention. Okay, we are starting today with the Daily Trust.
ADC expels Nafiu Bala Abejide and unveils next move. So they're hitting the ground running now.
Exactly, because now since the new leadership has emerged, I think they consider it expedient for them now to be able to say, look, you people have been our problem in the party. You have been performing anti-party activities. But you're
acting like an alleged stooge.
Exactly. So we have to expel you.
That was a quick one. This is more or less like a mafian approach. For those of us who understand, who love to watch mafian films, this is how mafians do their thing.
But you know, there are still a lot of pending cases in court, particularly surrounding the issue of Nafiu Bala. So that's why I said there are still a lot of challenges, even after they conduct.
Even though so there are evidences that Nafiu Bala also resigned. There are also documents to show that he resigned.
The fact that the fact that the court has not issued out a final judgment means still there are still pending cases in the court.
Yes,
and this may affect the party in the long run.
Well, because that convention is legitimate. Legitimate in the sense that we have the presence of the DSS, the police, INEC officials were there too.
The convention?
Yes.
No. INEC did not monitor the convention. That's why I said there are a lot of challenges up till today.
You want to tell me there is no INEC official there?
Exactly. Yesterday's convention, there was no INEC official. It was not monitored by action. And you know, it is part of the legal responsibility of INEC. You know, there is a legal department within INEC.
Yes.
Part of their responsibility is for them to monitor, to be in attendance of such proceedings. They were not there. That is why Arabia Shola said, despite the fact that INEC officials have not monitored this convention, the convention still stands. He did not say it's still legal. He said still stands. Whatever their reasons for saying that still remain to be seen. That is why I said this.
Well, it may be argued that, of course, this is internal party affairs.
No, even internal party affairs has to do in line with certain
guidelines
and those guidelines are to be given by the INEC. You understand? You cannot, as a party, go out of those guidelines provided by the umpire to conduct any of your internal party affairs. What INEC is prevented from doing is to participate in your decisions. You understand?
Okay.
But they have to be there in the first place. They have to attend it. They have to witness it. But they have to monitor the process.
Mr. Shaibu, what I do know is that ADC is going to cross the hurdles.
When they get to that, we are not. We are just.
The convention where we are pinpointing, however,
areas,
right? Gray areas and maybe probably areas
that may be a problem to them later.
Well, what matters is that
we'll discuss a lot of this. Let's not exhaust everything here while discussing.
Let the discussion continue.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go back to the Daily Trust and see if we have any juicy rider there. Can you please zoom it up? Zoom it a bit.
There's another rider down at the bottom.
Okay.
Despite bail, El-Rufai to remain in custody.
Yes. So despite bail, El-Rufai remains in custody, and I knew it was going to get to this level, Mr. Ibrahim.
Yeah.
When I heard that El-Rufai would be granted, the privilege to, obey hearing, I told myself they will not release El-Rufai. I personally predicted it. The El-Rufai, because we've seen cases where, political bigwigs have been detained, and they will tell you, they will be granting him bail, and when it's the day before the bail condition, they will say, okay, there's an adjustment. There are a lot of technicalities that can be used.
I think in his case, it's not about adjustment and technicalities. In his case, it's about having numerous cases around him. For example, when the EFCC and ICPC decided now to say, okay, let's bail him out, Kaduna State government says, okay, even after you bail him down, we too, we have a case with him. It was on that basis that he was arraigned again.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
That's what I'm telling you, that they will always wait see, these things are politics.
Of course, everybody knows politics.
They will always wait a day before your bail application.
Exactly.
When you are almost, becoming free.
Then they will begin to
something else will now come up and say, okay,
I think
you have escaped Mr. A. There is B. So, see, let me tell you something. There's a saying that goes that if you want to find a fault in somebody, if you are determined to find out a fault in anything, you will even blame the snail for overspeeding.
Exactly.
You will blame the snail for overspeeding. And And this whole political, like I said, these whole political happenings, they are all the same since 1999.
Yes.
Nothing has changed. The same style. When one government goes out, another government comes in.
Not much has changed.
Not really much, And, the way we play our politics here is predictable. When this government leaves now and the next one comes, you will still see people making arrests.
We'll still see the same pattern.
The same pattern.
Repeating itself.
And the same story. The same, multiple cases to answer here and there. And my appeal to, Nigerians is that we should try and be a little bit more...
we should try to become more and more matured. We will try to change
the
pattern of our political behaviors.
Yes, our political behaviors will be more matured about it and then move on. The country is bleeding. The country is bleeding economically, and the country is bleeding in terms of insecurity.
Exactly.
So we have issues bothering this country, bedeviling the country, terrorizing the citizens, and here we are.
I think the aim here is not to allow everybody to participate actively in the political dispensation towards 2027. I think that's just the drama. That's what the drama is all about, because they know his capacity. They know his capacity to rally people around, to organize party politics, to attract crowds, to give ideas, to give wonderful permutation that will lead to election success. They are aware of all these things. So the best way is, since the opposition party in itself is considered a very mighty force, allowing people like Erufai to be around also to guide things.
But for how long? That's what I'm saying. We still have only 8 months or 7 months to the elections. For how long are you going to do that?
I told you, in politics, a very key decision in the last hour can change things around.
I want to believe they might not be able to incarcerate him or keep him for too long. They might not be able to keep him for too long because he is also entitled to his fundamental human rights.
Exactly.
Charge him to court and let's take it up from there. He has the right to be granted bail, and then when take him to court, let's see how it goes from there. All right, let's go back to the Daily Trust if we still have any other radar there.
Yes.
Any other one there?
All tax laws impoverish Nigerians, says Tinubu. All tax laws impoverish Nigerians, says Tinubu. In essence, he's saying that the new tax law is here now to make Nigerians richer. I don't even know what
all the tax laws before now impoverish Nigerians.
Yes, that was what was responsible for a lot of Nigerians becoming poor and suffering. That is, I think.
Well, I don't think. Well, I want to differ from that statement because we've been paying taxes. Nigerians don't have problem paying tax. The problem is
he may have given his reasons. So
well, he has his own reason. But I'm trying to analyze my own as a journalist. Yes, we have been paying taxes. The problem is, what are those taxes being used for?
Exactly.
In the United Kingdom, when you pay tax, you know why you are paying tax. In fact, that is why an average citizen in the United Kingdom can challenge whatever activities the government is doing. But in this case, I don't know. I think part of these charges that has been deducted from our accounts are tax. It's part of the tax that we pay. Because every month, I see over 1,000 plus being deducted from my account for all kinds of charges, this one, that one, and I begin to wonder what is going on. Anyway, that will be all I think that's all for Daily Trust. Let's go back. Daily Trust. Let's see. Let's go to the top. Yes, Daily Trust. Okay. What's there for us?
2027. Akko local government stakeholders back Yelmatu Deba constituent endorse Tinubu's second term. Goje continuity in Senate. Akko local government stakeholders back Yamaltu and Deba constituents endorse Tinubu's second term and Goje continuity in the Senate.
Okay. Yes. Well, we have endorsements and everywhere.
I think.
And but I hope this endorsement translates into votes.
Well, we don't know, because as it is now, Gombe State have a very strong person also trying to contest for the gubernatorial candidate in the person of former minister of this Islamic scholar, Sheikh Fantami. He was also
digital economy.
He's also showing interest in contesting for the governorship, and even the incumbent governor seems to be endorsing him. And then Goje here is former Gombe State governor too, and he's trying to push the endorsement to Yelmatu and Deba or something like that. So it's going to be very interesting.
Well, very interesting one in Gombe State.
In Gombe State, yes, because the ADC is very strong also there. Although Fantami has a very long, very thick followership across even the northern region as a whole, but that does not guarantee him
votes.
Easy right, exactly.
Okay, let's see the next newspaper, please. The Tribune.
ADC won't surrender to tyranny, says David Mark. ADC won't surrender to tyranny or tyranny, says David Mark.
ADC won't.
Riders there.
Okay, let's.
Renewed hope is a scam, says Arabeshola. Then we will win 2027 elections, says Atiku. Nigeria leading in huge debt, says Obi. These are statements made by key ADC members, I think, during
the first one is ADC would surrender to tyranny.
Attacking the incumbent.
That is from David Mark. Exactly. And the second one is an Araboshola saying that renewed hope
is a scam.
Is a scam.
That's the mantra of the current administration.
Yes, and Atiku is now coming to say that we will win 2027
election.
Then Peter B is saying that Nigeria is leading in terms of debts.
Exactly, huge debt.
Huge debt. Now, let's take it one after the ADC won't surrender to tyranny, David Mark. What tyranny are we talking about here now? Is it that the style of leadership of the ruling party, as it were, is appearing to be tyrannical in nature?
Yes, because when you start to introduce policies that are very, very disturbing to the citizens, when you begin to make policies that are exposing Nigerians to difficulties and hardship, that can be considered as tyranny to other people. When we begin to use government agencies to promote your public self-interest as a leader, this also shows tyranny, because as we are seeing now, a lot of agencies that have active participation in this political dispensation are seen to be, or are perceived to be seen to be working for the government, like the judiciary, because there are claims that the judiciary is taking side or showing signs of taking side, like the INEC in itself. Some people are beginning to see the hands of the government in some of the affairs, passive action of the government towards the
collection of gratifications and the rest of them.
At the rest of them. So some people might need to define this as tyranny.
Okay, the tyranny, or the denial of access to public centers for conventions
or continuous detention of some key political figures, especially key figures that belong to a particular political.
So there are still a lot of leading indicators showing that there's an alleged tyrannical style of leadership.
Exactly.
Okay, now that statement was attributed to David Mark, who will not surrender to tyranny. Now look at the statement of Atiku saying that we will win 2027 election, the ADC. So what some people might be arguing, what are his basis for that, submission on that calculation?
I think reason being is that they have felt the temperature within the public. They knew that a lot of Nigerians are not finding it easy these days. They knew that the market in itself is no-go area to ordinary Nigerians. They knew that there are a lot of children that are not going to school currently because their parents can no longer afford to pay school fees. They knew that you cannot readily go to a hospital and then get treated as an ordinary citizen.
A lot of
issues are on the ground. So the people battling with the very high petroleum price of petroleum product. So all these things, they knew that those who are going to cast their vote, are not happy with the situation on ground. But they are thinking they may capitulate on that and then maybe try to push the government away. I think this is one of the reasons that has made.
But looking at that statement, Atiku should also understand the fact that one of the permutations that may grant them that success is the ability to allow power to remain in the South. I'm talking about my own now, because the South has to complete. There's this gentlemanly agreement that has been in existence ab initio, power rotation from the North.
I think for now they are deliberately trying to keep that particular subject down. Their interest for now is to try to consolidate the party together. That is why throughout that convention, I saw part of the convention yesterday, no one particular person has made reference to that gentleman arrangement so far. Do you understand? But it is very important. We have been discussing, we always bring this issue up whenever we're discussing politics, particularly as regard to the
because it's key.
It's key, but it's not yet time. We have at least up to 7, 8, 9 months for the election to come. I know this issue must come. As soon as they start working, the next issue they will discuss is about how, from where are our candidates going to.
Now, Mr. Ibrahim, why I said this is key. Mr. Ibrahim, as one who is in tune with current realities, myself, I'm speaking of myself as Ken now. I am in tune. They're out there. I mix up with all kinds of people. Nigerians, where Nigerians are waiting for ADC, is who is going to be the next presidential candidate. I am telling you the truth now. What ADCs, any mistake, if they make that mistake in terms of bringing out the
when
right
you say
people,
Nigerians, that term is relative.
I'm coming. I said I'm on ground. Whether relative or not relative,
we are all on ground.
everybody.
Nobody is coming from Mars.
Look,
yes.
Nobody is paying attention to the challenges being faced by ADC now. Much as who is going to be.
I'm waiting to see who the
I am telling you now
is going to be. Well, if you are aware of that, they too are aware of that. But
that's why I'm saying it is that, you know, why I'm saying this is because they should also know that whatever challenges they have been faced,
they know.
Fine.
One at a time.
Okay, one at now you are talking. But
they know to consolidate the basis of the party.
But we should, it is our duty,
leadership in place.
It's our duty to speak.
Exactly.
It's our duty to speak because let them know that people are aware.
Do you know that
people are watching?
Do you know yesterday they finally agreed on certain changes that they need to do on the constitution? Waziri Tambol has come to present the changes, and then he moved for adoption of the changes made into the constitution. Then another member of House of Reps from the South came out to support Waziri Tambol about
and seconded
it. And then that changes in the constitution were officially agreed and accepted. So that is why for now, they decided not to mention the issue of where should our candidate come from. It's a key issue and it must be discussed. But now the number one goal, objective is to consolidate the strength and the basis of the party. Nobody is saying it's not important.
But I agree with, in as much as I understand this aspect of the politicking you're talking about. I'm only telling you the mindset of the common man on the street.
Yes.
The common man on the street does not understand this whole political technicalities you're talking about. What the common man on the street, the market woman, the market man with their PVC,
the Chaba boy,
the Chaba boy, the Okada rider, everybody is just waiting like this patiently. Who is going to be the flag bearer? Every other political calculations and political English we are speaking here, it doesn't matter to the. I am telling you, that's why I said the market woman, the Chaba man, everybody. If you want to know how politically inclined and educated Nigerians are, one of the ways you can notice is who is going to be the flag bearer. I am telling you, an average Nigerian on the street, the poor man on the street does not want to know what any other thing. What he wants to see, who is in every political party. Now, who they come out for us? Who then they choose? And just that is what they understand about politics.
Okay.
So let's go back to that. Then we have that statement from Obi. Nigeria is leading in terms of borrowing.
Exactly. Yes, you can see we have. From the inception of this administration, we have borrowed money in trillions.
First quarter of the year, we have run into 8.1 trillion.
Is it 8.1?
First quarter alone.
Exactly, 8.1 trillion so far, and we are still borrowing. And then that borrowing does not translate into improving infrastructure. We don't physically see any infrastructure development going, something that you can actually say, yes, we feel this. We have not been seeing them, and then it's not impacting on the life of the citizenry. You see, these are the things that opposition party will give the opposition party the strength, the confidence to come out and say
content to talk about
that we are going to take power, because they know that the citizenry or greater majority of the citizenry are not happy with what is obtained. Because for the common man in the street, is for him to go out, be able to do his job, then be able to cater for his family and for himself. But this is not happening in Nigeria, and it calls for a concern.
Serious concern, not just.
And then there are a lot, and then so many unpleasant statements coming from the key government officials to the effect that, just like the statement one time the president is comparing Nigeria to another.
You always like making offense. That's it.
No, because it is funny. Do you know that up till today there are discussions going on different platforms, social media platforms, even on the Tebrim Meshai. Maybe you don't know the Tebrim Meshai. Those from the north know that Tebrim Meshai. You know, in most northern states, around between maybe 8:30 to 10 o'clock, you will find people on all those tea
sellers,
sellers. Exactly, yes. You hear a lot of noise there, you hear a lot of stories, political discussion, social discussion.
I think I would like to listen
exactly,
to that. It sounds very interesting.
Yes.
Because when you drink tea,
if you want to
just like the morning show,
if you want to test,
like the P&B morning show,
exactly.
You know, we drink tea early in the morning while you discuss political issues.
I think you can create a program out of that, because in those places you have so many stories, you hear so many issues, social issues, political
because at the drinking at table Meshai, a lot of everything that has to be national issues.
Exactly. Sometimes you will see
it's like a gossip
director from the civil service. He will come there and sit down in disguise. You will not even know that he's one eating his indomie and drinking tea, and then contributing from time to time to discuss
national issues,
or maybe just listening and then smiling. People discuss things around those areas. So if you hear all these things, you will hear the suffering of the people around those areas. People are not happy. Just like you said that you mingle with people, you will hear things about this government.
I mingle very well.
And my family concern is that I feel those that are advising the current administration are not giving the leadership the true realities,
the empirical fact of what is on ground.
Exactly.
They are the true situation. So, and I still maintain, I said it before, that some of these leaders that you are seeing, it is still with the young people that still goes there to tell them, okay, all correct, sir. I keep saying this.
Yes, I'm not contesting that.
You know, Nigerians have this way of when it is not affecting you,
I don't give a damn.
Yes. And we must start to address such kind of behavior as citizens, because what affects the eyes affects the nose.
Definitely. So.
Now let's look at the last statement by Arebo Sola that you renewed hope is a scam, coming from one politician who is adjudged to be one of the closest politicians to the president.
The current president. Yes, of course. And I'm coming from the same region as well.
Yes, very close. You know, it's like
they were confident.
This is a guarantor statement.
It
is a guarantor statement for me.
Exactly.
Somebody who is so. Arebo Sola has served with Tinubu, worked with Tinubu, very close to him.
I know.
One of his favorites until they fell apart. And then now he's coming to say that the renewed hope is a scam.
The renewed hope is the mantra on which the incumbent administration came into being. So you see, when you say you are giving hope to people and you keep taxing them beyond their capacity, I don't think you're giving them hope.
And we are even justifying the taxing.
Exactly. And
because today we are opening the NRLs.
And even yesterday, on the occasion of the NRS, he was saying that the previous tax is what was responsible for impoverishing Nigerians.
How did you arrive at that?
I don't know. That is why I said we need to. I wanted to read that particular rider there, but I didn't get the time because we have to be here by 6:30. But I wanted to read and find out what he actually said there. So,
well, let's see. I think the economists are there, analysts are there, economic analysts are there to also find out.
They will respond to it.
They will respond to it and know if truly the previous taxing was responsible to the poverty in Nigeria. And let's see what these new tax laws will do for us. Okay, let's go back to the newspapers. Do we still have any other, having analyzed three statements?
Yes, it's still about that bombing issue. Federal Government Defense Air Force insists Borno airstrike was precision operation. So
federal government is still defending the act of the actions by the NAF.
We have discussed. We don't need to go there because we have discussed a lot of that yesterday. And
yesterday well, they have their reasons for Olu Ibadan, Ajimobi, others deny plot to impeach Makinde. Olu Ibadan. Olu Ibadan, that is the king. Olu Ibadan is the highest monarch in Oyo State.
But it's Olubadan, not Olu Ibadan.
No, that's how they put it. It's Olu Ibadan. Olu Ibadan, that is the king, the Olu of Ibadan. That is the king there, and the Ajimobi, former governor, others deny plot to impeach Makinde. Makinde is almost done with his tenure.
Exactly.
So what to impeach?
Has he already moved out of the PDP?
No, well, the talks are ongoing.
Yes.
Just like Bala Mohammed said, my brothers are in the ADC. And we had, I think, was it last week or two, where we had Makinde visiting Kwankwaso, and we heard that Makinde and the Turaki-led faction of the PDP are also likely to join the ADC. I think there was a caption there. We saw, was it last week or two?
Last week, yes.
And then Wike fumes. Wike was fuming, was angry.
Why should they move out of the...
But ever since then, we've not heard much about that move, if actually they moved or there was no fuel to move.
And then the storm is beginning to come down. Now let's go back to the here. See some other interesting titles there. Riders. No money exchange hands in impeachment plot, says Speaker of Oyo House of Assembly. No money exchange hands in impeachment plot, says the Speaker of Oyo House of Assembly. Olubadan throne should not be dragged into dirty politics, says Obala Doja. Olubadan throne should not be dragged into dirty politics, says Obala Doja. I did not convene, attend, participate in any such meeting, says former Governor Ajimobi. I did not convene, attend, participate in any such meeting, says the former Governor Ajimobi.
You know, let's take it one after the other. Olubadan, like I told you.
Yes.
That monarch, that seat is a highly revered seat.
We understand, yes.
You know, it's not a seat, it's not a political seat. He's a monarch. He's supposed to be neutral. He's a leader for all. And then you can see one of the, you know, one of the senior chiefs coming to say that don't drag the office of the Olubadan.
But the truth, the reality of the thing is that politicians have succeeded in politicizing everything in Nigeria, including the monarchs. See the drama that happened in Kano. As we speak today now, because of the nefarious activities of politicians now, there are 2 emirs in Kano, a situation that had never
bastardizing the sanctity of those royal seats.
It has happened in so many states across regions in Nigeria. It's the fault of the politicians. They politicize everything. Seemingly, some people
these monarchs are not politicians.
Some people are even alleging that even the neutral institutions like the military are beginning to show sign of being politicized. Because you cannot get to a certain position unless you are secretly have connection with certain political parties.
If you're not a party member,
don't be surprised.
If you're not a party loyalist, directly or indirectly.
No, you have to be indirectly, because when you are wearing this kind of uniform, it has to be indirectly.
But your body language will show.
No,
my friend will say the body
language. In their own case, even the body language will not show. They know, the politicians know how they use such people. So you understand, everything has been politicized by the politicians. That is why our situation is a very situation in this country.
So thereby destroying institutions.
A situation whereby even the election agency, the agency that is responsible for coordinating
is collecting
is seen to
land.
be side.
Land, oh.
So I'm telling you,
collecting $50,000 allegedly,
exactly.
And then
plot of land.
Now, plot of land. And one of the commissioners, Mohammed Aruna, came out openly to say, you know, testimonies from such a... Until today, we have not heard... Have you heard anything after that?
Not yet. Not yet.
Somebody was telling me the reason why... Somebody was making a joke. The reason why we don't have light in the evening is that so that we don't get to see, you know, primetime news on TV to know what is going on in the country. Because when you are kept in the dark, you lose touch of information.
Exactly.
Because
nobody can keep you out of touch information, because today your phone in your hand is enough for you to
have you eaten. Some people are looking for food. How many data? How many people have data? The data is expensive to buy today. You buy 1,000 naira data. How long will it take you? At most 2 days, 3 days. Now no light. Mr. Ibrahim Shaibu, I have not watched prime time news from 6 p.m. to 10 in the night before I go to bed. I can't remember when last I sat down in my sitting room to watch it. No light. I'm saying it on national TV. No light.
And just a few days ago, we saw how many trillion naira being earmarked for light.
So what are we saying? Somebody made a joke out of it that it is deliberately done, allegedly, to keep people away from information, because 6 p.m.
by mistake.
There is a program I don't joke with one of our sister television stations. From 6 p.m. till 10, you get very interesting, you know, and very engaging, discussions and news that keep you abreast with the happenings and current realities of your nation. I'm telling you, and now that is when you have blackouts. I'm telling you, it is. As far as I'm concerned, even though it was a joke from a friend, I want to believe that joke. There's some element of truth, allegedly, in that thing. Because why? I'm telling you that I have not. From January to date, I can't remember when last I had light from 6 p.m. And that even affected me. Why I cannot even recharge some of my cable TVs. I can't even do it because my children will keep complaining. I say, what am I recharging it for? Where is the light to watch? And they stop even calling me. One of the cable network will call me and say, What's the problem? Why are you not recharging?
They keep doing that.
I told one of them, I responded to one of them, I said, please don't call me. He said, why, sir? I said, you don't have the solution. You're just a customer care calling me. You're asking me why am I not recharging? Are you not in Nigeria? You recharge 12,000 naira, you recharge 15,000 naira.
You may not watch it for three
where is the light to watch?
There's no light to watch, exactly.
And at the end of the day, when the subscription expires, they don't even give you extra 1 minute.
They don't.
They cut it off. So much financial burden. So I told them, please don't stop calling me. Okay, you don't have the solution to my problem. And they respected themselves and stopped calling me. And I'm sure they are listening to me. Please, let's go to the next newspaper. Okay, The Guardian. Let's see.
The Guardian is with the rider ADC on brink of 2027 exclusion as court battles deadline draws near. ADC on brink of 2027 exclusion as court battles deadline draw near. That's what I told you initially. There are still a lot of pending court cases, and the fact that INEC did not monitor that convention will spell doom for them towards 2027 election. They may be even unable to fill a candidate, particularly for the presidential and gubernatorial candidate, because the time is of essence. You always say that I'm always particular about time, and it's true. Our whole life revolves around time.
But how we so short? I think I need to do further research on if the INEC officials were actually not there or not.
They were not there. Aribeshola said it. You said you watched this?
But I didn't finish it. Said, but that's a clear indication that there's something going on.
There's something going on.
You smell it right somewhere?
Of course I did. Because we know their behavior towards ADC at the initial point. I'm talking about the INEC.
The body language.
Their body language. We know their attempt to say, look, well, we do not to the list, the former caretaker membership of Mark and Aribeshola before. Now they have been substantiated. We know about so many things they tried to do to frustrate the efforts of the ADC before now, and their deliberate is their legal, is their functional. It is their primary function to make sure that they attended this. You know, the time that Naipio...
Regardless of whatever challenge.
Exactly. They should have been there. They should have been there, but they refused to go there. And they've been informed that this convention is taking place, but they refused to go there. That's exactly what happened previously. They attended the situation, they attended the meeting whereby Naipio said he's stepping down, but they denied it until the ADC brought out a letter to that effect that we invited you to come.
And signatures were signed.
And signatures were signed. And attendance was signed. And you came. So it's not repeating itself. It's a circle.
So it is clear now.
So the more these things continue, the more the INEC is delving itself into a situation that is tarnishing its own image.
It's not just tarnishing its image. Some might also argue that what is going on now is likely to, end up in some serious kind of
course,
social unrest.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
That is why people are calling.
People are getting more agitated and angry.
Himself.
People are getting angry.
Of course, yes. Why can't you come? This is part of the functions of INEC. When we say function, there are mandates. Do you understand? Mandates are designed.
INEC is supposed to be for all.
Exactly. No, let me just explain. There are people that would need to understand this thing. In every government organization, there are mandates. Do you understand? Okay. Those mandates are created. They are the responsible for giving the shape, the structure of the organization. In fact, including how departments are being named.
Yeah, of course.
Then under every mandate is broken down into functions. It's one of their functions under the legal department of INEC to make sure that they participate in such conventions. Do you understand? And why did they deliberately refuse to be there?
And I'm sure ADC wrote to them.
That is why I don't know whether they yes, of course. And I don't know why they refused to come. That is what gave Aribeshola the strength to say that whether this convention is binding, despite the fact that INEC did not come, because it is there. In fact, they are going against one of the 2027 processes of election by deliberately refusing to be there.
And I think the ADC was smart enough to have written to them, but that acknowledgement copy is also a proof
exactly
that you were invited, but you did not come.
Don't you see in the previous Naipio Bala
just like they have the proof
out letters
that they wrote to the Minister of FCT
exactly
that they wanted a venue for primaries
and they were denied.
Of course, they didn't use it for whatever reasons, and nobody was doing anything at the Eagle Square. There was no innovation whatsoever. So now these are the kind of politics of bickerings, politics of hate.
Exactly.
I thought politics is supposed to be.
Breathe. We are not just talking about this just because of the ADC.
No. Generally,
I don't belong to any political party.
We are not party members.
But at now, the only clear opposition party is the ADC. That is why we are talking.
And opposition is one of the beauty of democracy.
If you kill the opposition now, you just
it becomes a one-party system. Then there's nothing juicy or interesting any longer about politics.
That's why I don't find it exciting that I no longer hear the activities of PDP and Labour Party. I want to see them active also. But
the more the merrier.
Exactly, the more the merrier. You understand? The Labour Party have been very silent since Obihi shifted base to the ADC. The PDP, especially with the body language of Makinde that is leaving the party.
And Turaki
also has left. The PD has become very quiet and very quiet. About the PDP, though, I knew or I felt before now that ultimately this party will now give total allegiance in the long run to the incumbent administration. The best they can do is maybe they may fill governorship and House of Reps and National Assembly candidate. But for the presidency, I felt their body movement is always to
align themselves with the ruling party.
With the current ruling party.
Okay, let's go back to the newspapers and see more if we have other juicy right there. The Guardian. Okay, can you zoom please so we can see
Borno, Benue, top MBS record of 3.3 million IDPs across 14 states. National MBS, go back a little bit. National Bureau of Statistics record 3.3 million IDPs across 14 states. Wow.
3.3 million.
3.38 million IDPs across
displaced persons.
Exactly.
People as a result of insurgency.
Yes, insurgency.
Are we in a war?
Insurgency, banditry, ethno-religious crisis. You see, if we shouldn't underestimate the effect of ethno-religious crisis in Nigeria. It is as dangerous as terrorism and banditry activities.
But as we speak now, I don't think we've had any very, very serious ethno-religious crisis.
Whatever is happening in Benue axis is ethno-religious. It's not insurgency, it's not banditry. Whatever is happening on the plateau is ethno-religious. Do you understand? And then
has it generated more IDPs than that of that of insurgency?
No.
Insurgency is to be on the top list.
It did not. Yes, it did not generate. It don't lead into the position of having to put in place IDPs. But lives have been lost. We are generally talking about life loss and then the IDPs, of course.
No, in respect to the IDP, 3.8 million displaced persons. I want to believe that insurgency is responsible for the largest share of that. Yes. And some of these things are branded as farmers, reports allegedly. Some, a lot of conspiracy theory out there, a lot of talks, and there, this issue, one begins to wake up, and the trauma of hearing certain information. 3.8 is a lot, and they still go there to give them PVC to vote.
Yes.
The ballot box, INEC will go there and conduct election.
Exactly. The other time I read somewhere that he is the person writing the report was saying that he is very sure that sometimes politicians create problems, particularly in areas where they know they are not going to get the vote of the people, so that election may not take place in those areas. Then I laughed. Initially I laughed, but then again I sat down and I said, well, it may be possible because those politicians, I always say I never trust them. They can use whatever opportunity you give them just to serve their interest.
The end justify the means.
The end justify in politics. That's just the thing. The end.
There's no morals.
There's no morals.
Okay, excuse me. All right, let's go back to the
next paper.
Next paper, please. After the guidance. Next paper. The Nation.
Nigerian Revenue Service raised tax revenue from 7.11 billion to 3.6 trillion in 2 years. National Revenue Services raised tax revenue from 7.11 billion to 3.6 trillion in 2 years.
Well, the Nation seems to be very silent about the ADC. I know some of these things. Let's see if we have any story that has to do with the ADC there.
Yeah.
Go down. Any story?
Yes, ADC expels Nafiu Bala,
okay,
Abejide, and 5 others from the party.
Okay.
ADC, that is following the emergence of the key National Working Committee chairman, and secretary.
But the nation is going more of business.
Mark vows no surrender. David Mark, who is now the current chairman of the NWC, vows to no surrender. Federal government plans support for Gili market bombing victims. Federal government plans support for Gili market bombing victims. Then about El-Rufai gets 200 million naira bail. ADC, PDP, Supreme Court fixes April 22 for hearing. ADC, PDP, Supreme Court fixes April 22nd for hearing.
So April 22nd, we are going to know the matter will be rested.
Exactly.
The law, they say rest is a loquito. So the matter is rested. The matter will be rested by 22nd of April. And that is how many days from now?
Just few days from now.
Few days from now. All right, you can see that the nation is interested more in the business than even what is going on politically. You see, NRLs raised tax revenue from 7.11 billion to okay.
Then what are the monies being used to? The revenue that's raised, what are they being used to?
Well, when you want to find out, you can go and grab a copy of the nations.
Then 19 million taxpayers now captured in the net. Tinubu reforms key to growth.
Now, I want to say something. You know, see, where some of these newspapers, let's be very honest ourselves as journalists, the way some of these newspapers, try to, design or portray their headlines, capture their headlines. You understand the media PR of that.
Of course,
the media. You understand the body language of that. Yes, you can see that some of these newspapers are also. Some of them are loyal to some set of people, and some are not loyal to some set of people.
Just leave it at the PR.
As PR.
The PR.
Yes, you can see that. If you read our newspapers, you can even tell which one is loyal to a particular set of people.
Exactly.
And the one that is not loyal. The one that is not loyal will heighten issues that have to do with the other side of the divide, while the other one will play it down.
We are on national television. Let's move forward.
No, but we have just been.
No, we understand.
We are trying to draw some attention here.
Even your viewers understand you very well. So we are trying to create information. Still, let's move to the next paper.
Okay. The Punch.
Interesting. ADC convention.
Amak Atiku, Arebo Solas, tackle Tinubu on leadership.
On hardship.
Sorry.
And insecurity. You have discussed about that earlier.
Tackled. I hope as they are tackling, they are going to also, if likely they come into power, I hope we're not going to be tackling them themselves.
Of course. But these are Nigerian politicians. They all behave. You just a few minutes ago you mentioned it. Nothing has changed so far from 1999 till today. Not much have changed. They are almost.
Are you saying the only
difference is that
all hope is lost in Nigeria, that we cannot get?
No,
we cannot have any government that can change the narrative.
Of course, no. Ultimately, we may in the long run. Do you understand? We are hoping that we do. Why Nigerians are agitating for change now is because the situation has become so critical that change is required. It is the same change mantra that brought in General Buhari, led former President Buhari to power, because at that time the people were exposed to a lot of hardship and a lot of killings within the country. Do you understand? And then the situation is becoming even worse than that period with this administration. So we are hoping that things may be a little.
So we are grading down.
Exactly. We are hoping. Nigerians are hoping that now when we change and bring in somebody, maybe things will change a little bit. So you understand?
Yes.
We are not expecting that these people, even when
this life will improve to a reasonable extent.
Just reasonable extent.
Not grading down.
Corruption will not completely go away, even when
but it can be reduced.
And we are not even sure.
No,
we are now after.
It can be reduced. I will argue with you that. See, let me tell you
what Nigerians are concerned about majorly. Security.
Food.
Affordable food. Do you understand?
Fuel.
Affordable fuel. That is what greater majority of the people, those who go out to vote, this is what actually they are concerned about.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that
if you can do this, continue your corruption. You will die, and you'll go there, and you'll answer for whatever you do.
Even corruption can be reduced. And let me tell you, policy statement. A president came up and said subsidy is gone. And what happened? Have you recovered from that statement?
No.
So I was saying, even yesterday at the program here, we had a program called Voices. And I told one of the discussants here that the words of the president is powerful.
It's very powerful.
Even the dress code of the president. Go to some other African countries where the president said, don't put my picture in Senegal, in your office.
Senegal, yes, that young president.
Yes, put your picture so that each time you want to steal money, you ask yourself.
No, he said, put the picture of your family, your wife and children, so that anytime you want to steal, just make sure that what the stories these children will hear about you.
And that went a long way to reduce a lot of mischief in governance.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go back to the discrepancy. Do you have any juicy talk?
Yes. There is Obi Amechi decry rising poverty. ADC chiefs predict rough 2027 for Tinubu. The Supreme Court to hear ADC leaders appeal against INEC in April 22. Supreme Court to hear ADC leaders appeal against INEC April 22. Then, so these are the kind of outcome that the ADC is waiting for before they will not start to make their permutation about who comes, who will they put to represent the party in the poll. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah, they have to make it. That's why I said they have to clear any pending small issues within the party. The essence now is to make sure that the base of the party is strong. Then upon that, they will now say, okay, now the incumbent is from the south. He had his 4 years, he's almost finishing his 4 years. He's expected to go for another 4 years. So the best way to counter this is to bring another person from the south to complete those 4 years so that the south tenure will finish. Do you understand? So that then 2020, is it 2021? Then the north will now begin to work toward presidency, because that is a gentlemanly. This is not only happening in Nigeria, it's happening in a lot of countries. Even Lebanon, that Arab country that you are seeing, that's how they do their things. You understand? Once the president is a Muslim, then the prime minister should be a Christian. Once the prime minister is a Christian, the president should be a Muslim. Then it rotates between South Pole and the North Pole. That's what they do. It's not
just to have some political sense of balance.
Exactly. And from 1999 to now,
and
we have been doing.
Do you know these things?
Working for us.
Do you know these things? Common as it may look, it has a way of fostering peace. Amongst citizens.
Understanding and even trust.
Yes.
And even trust. Most importantly, trust. Okay, I will support you. I know after 8 years, you'll also support me. You know, this kind of a thing. But when we tamper with this, we'll begin to have problems.
Serious problem.
I belong to the school of thought that is saying, although I don't belong to any political party, but I hope the ADC...
But you belong to the school of thought?
Yes, I hope the ADC will think along that line and then consider bringing in candidate from the south to stand in as a presidential candidate. Because that was the mistake that the PDP made during Goodluck Jonathan's time. Instead of after serving the period of his principal, Yaradua, he should have gone. Then let the North brought in somebody to complete that tenure of 8 years. And then after that, then the presidency should go to the south. He refused. His advisors did not advise him well. And it threw us into some disturbances at that time.
All right.
So we are not hoping for renewal of such a misstep again this time around.
Okay, let's go back to the newspaper and see. Any other newspaper, please? Okay, we're done with the Punch. Let's see.
No, Chibok Girls, wait. At the top there's another rider. Chibok Girls remembered. Chibok Girls remembered in emotion.
Today marks 12
years. Photo exhibition.
Today marks 12 years.
12 years, exactly. After that sad episode, whereby some of our about 276 school girls were abducted by.
And we have just about how many left now? 88 or 87 of them.
88 are still unaccounted for. They have not been found.
That's a very huge one.
That's a very huge one. Federal government spends 75 billion naira on arms amid worsening insecurity. 75 billion naira on arms.
What is 75 billion naira on arms?
I don't even know.
When somebody is also budgeting 135 billion, 0.22 billion for post-election litigations.
Exactly. You can imagine that.
So you can imagine the mindset of...
we have to make this comparison. You are aspiring to assume leadership for the second time, and in preparation of that, as if you know what's going to happen, you have already earmarked more than 100 billion naira for post-election legal.
As though you already know the outcome of the election.
And then for people dying, you are only putting in, let me see, let us see the amount.
75.
Only 75 billion. What will that buy?
Bullets.
So,
it will buy bullets.
Almost half the country are now being engulfed in this crisis. People are dying. We are putting in 100.
That goes to show the thinking of whoever is responsible for, such.
It's very sad.
Such activities or
75 billion as compared to what was that amount for the
135.22
billion.
That is almost 50%.
Niger for you.
Niger for you, right?
I'm telling you.
Well. Let's hope
that's very sad.
It's sad indeed. Anyway, it's sad indeed. Let's go back, please. Next newspaper, please. Now with sports.
Lukman powers Atletico Madrid into UCL semi-final. Lukman powers Atletico into UCL semi-final.
Yes, Ademola Lukman scored the only goal yesterday for his team. At some point, Barcelona was leading 2-0. I watched it myself.
Wow.
And the chance was created, and Lukman took that chance. The only formidable chance by Atletico Madrid in that match, because Barcelona actually pressed Atletico Madrid to see that they can, get the third goal.
It couldn't function well, yes.
But that Lukman's goal ended up becoming the talisman goal.
Wow.
And just a goal. And mind you, Atletico Madrid was at home. They defeated Barcelona away in Nou Camp. And of course, with a red card, to the disadvantage of Barcelona was playing 10 man against 11, of which we had that later on that the referee that officiated that game was suspended. So, that was not a red card offense, according to, reports. But now, congratulations to Atletico Madrid. Congratulations to Simeone's boys.
And congratulations our
own Lukman. Lukman, I think for me, it was the only black player on the pitch yesterday.
Wow.
Black player. Yes.
Nigerians are making wonders in international.
And he scored the only goal that has kept,
the team
on to semi-finals. So, congratulations. But Liverpool also lost 2-0. Yesterday, they drew with PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, at home. Before then, they went to PSG, and PSG won them 2-0. But Liverpool was unable to come back. And then, so Liverpool and Barcelona, they are out of the Champions League. While PSG and Atletico Madrid
moved on,
are through to the semi-finals. Okay, Mr. Ishaibu, before we go on break, what's your take? Looking at the whole newspaper today, which one was really the best caption for you? Which one do you think?
I think the best caption for me is not the best. The one that actually touched me is the federal government putting aside, is it
75 billion?
75 billion in procurement of arms,
as against
in the midst of a worsening insecurity crisis. That is very, very
unfortunate. And then putting up 1.3522 billion.
It's very, very sad when you compare it to the 183.22 billion, 135 billion that has been earmarked for post-election. That means the interest of the administration is on winning election and then fighting it in court to ensure that it won by hook or by crook. That is it.
So the lawyers will be smiling more than the soldiers.
The lawyers will be smiling more than the soldiers. The soldiers, that money, that money is even for ammunition. And that is why they keep dying, because some of the ammunition in their possession, some of the machine guns in their hand is non-functional most of the time.
Obsolete.
Old. Do you understand? Why can't you budget put in place like 1 trillion for that and make sure that those equipment have been procured and brought in and then shared among the bases? What will this amount do in fighting insurgency? It's very sad.
All right, very sad indeed, Mr. Shaibu. I must to commend you honestly for analyzing these issues and looking at the papers page by page. And I want to thank you also for watching us. In case you want to know or want to find out details of what is going on, you can go to any of the newspaper stand and grab a copy of your own, and then you can read. All right, this is P&B Morning Show. We shall be going on a short break, and when we return, we dive straight into the topic of today. This is PMB Morning Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. This is PMB Morning Show right here in the city of Abuja. My name is T. Kenneth Chidi, and I still have with me Mr. Shaibu Ibrahim. Good morning once again, Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you, Mr. Siki.
All right, just yesterday, political party convention took place. That is the ADC political party convention. And of course, convention is one of the processes that is designed to elect different aspirants into leadership positions. However, the case of the ADC is that it is characterized by so many challenges. And now the long-awaited convention has come and gone, despite all odds, thereby raising some concerns and questions. What are the challenges ahead, Mr. Ibrahim? Secondly, are we likely going to see another phase of drama? Is the ADC truly becoming a political opposition force to the ruling APC? All right, Mr. Ibrahim.
Yes, Mr. CK.
Let's start. Congratulations to ADC.
Yeah, congratulations to ADC.
Whether, like Arebo Salah said, and, it has come, the convention has come to stay.
Exactly. We congratulate the ADC as a party, and then we also understand that just few days ago, the PDP had also had their own, another opposition party. So we are hoping other
Even the APC has also had their own?
Yes, they did. ADC started, I think. APC, yes.
Then PDP?
Then PDP, then now ADC. I'm looking forward to seeing other political parties also do their...
The APC, let me continue. The APC had their own at the Eagle Square. The PDP had their own at the stadium, at Moshood Abiola, the Velodrome, and but the ADC had their own in the private facility.
Yes. I will not delve into this for now, but first, at least, we have seen the convention has taken place, and then leadership has emerged out of that convention. And then the leadership are expected to now run the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. And then what is of interest is that those who have been holding the leadership position in the party, those who have been forced for some tussles, re-emerge again as substantive leadership of the National Working Committee. I think I have a list here of some of the successful candidates. I think David Mark still emerged as the national chairman of the ADC, who is from Benue State of North Central. Then we have the national secretary still retained by Obenirab Adebekshola, former Osun State governor from Osun State, from the Southwest. Then the national publicity secretary still remains Bolaji Abdullahi from Kwara State, North Central. And then the national treasurer is Dr. Mani Ibrahim from Niger State, also from the North Central. And then we have the national financial secretary Akibu Dalhatu from Zamfara State, from Northwest Nigeria. Then we have the national legal advisor as Professor Osahimen Osumbo from Edo State, South Nigeria. Then we have the national organizing secretary as Barisa Chinedu Idigo from Anambra State, Southeast Nigeria. And then we have finally we have the national welfare secretary as Comrade Nkem Okendi from Abia State of Southeast Nigeria. But in addition to that, there are about 8 other members comprising of the National Vice Chairman North, National Vice Chairman South, etc. And so many other positions being filled by people from various regions and various states of Nigeria. Now, the essence of these people now is to run the affairs of the party for at least another 4 years with a view to end the leadership tussle that began after the resignation of former chairman, I think Rap Wobo or somebody like that.
Osu?
Yeah, Raf Umosu. So part of the activities that happened in that place, apart from selecting, voting for the national leadership position, is also the expulsion of Nafiu Bala.
Who was allegedly to be perceived to be one of the
and five,
of an implant.
Exactly, and 5 others and accused of being committing anti-party activities. So these are actually the outcome of what transpired yesterday. And then again, there are some changes made to the constitution of the ADC, changes that are intended to ensure that no section of the country have been taken advantage of. So those sections were corrected, amended, and then brought to the fore. I think the one Professor Ansan, who was former member of House of Reps, was the chairman of the committee of reviewing the constitution. They brought their findings, have been discussed, and then finally yesterday, agreed upon. Former Sokoto State Governor, who was also former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal,
and the current senator,
and the current senator came out and then agreed to adopt the changes, and he was later seconded by for a current House of Rep member from the South Side. I think one lady barrister, somebody. They now accepted it and then adopted it for use as the party's new constitution, with a view to making sure that whatever arrangement, whatever structures that the party is going to put in place to move forward towards 2027 election have been considered that yesterday.
Okay, Mr. Ibrahim, now, having said all this, you know, we agree with you, you agree with me that before this convention took place, there was a lot of battles.
Exactly.
Battles upon battles from stage 1 to 2. It was as though at some point it was looking as like ADC was not going to hold.
Exactly.
The center will not hold. The party will not even exist.
Yeah.
You know, when we're trying to recover from the issue of the nephew Bala, there came another Obina, Don Obina Norman.
Exactly.
I don't know where that one is now.
Also claiming leadership of the party. At
some point, we started seeing some certain flyers around, making the round about his personality, of questionable personality, allegedly.
And the INEC trying to reinterpret court
rulings. Court rulings, INEC becoming the judiciary,
exactly,
performing the job of it, and then hearing about all kinds of induced attempts or alleged.
A lot happened.
A lot happened. Now, after this whole storm, finally, ADC kept their focus and they've organized their convention.
That's very impressive.
Very impressive. Now, the question is, what are the challenges ahead? What do you think? Are we going to still see more challenges?
Of course, it is to be expected, particularly when the ADC is poised to challenge the incumbent administration. And you said a few minutes ago that in politics, the end justifies the means.
As a Machiavellian.
Yes, exactly. And the incumbent administration will not just fold its arm and watch ADC do its magic. So, of course, you might expect other challenges still being faced. For example, now, you see, it is very important. There is one key function of INEC, particularly the legal department of INEC, that they must monitor any convention of any political party. Most activities that are taking place in the party, the INEC must be informed, and the INEC must either participate or monitor the situation. But in that particular convention, it's still a challenge. INEC did not monitor that convention. That made Arigbeshola, who is the current secretary of the party, said that despite non-attendance of INEC, this convention is still valid.
I want to believe this is why he's making that statement, because, well, INEC not being present there is, for me, also shows that the war still continues.
Exactly.
And secondly, and INEC has come out to show the world that from their body language that they're playing a particular script allegedly.
Exactly.
They're playing a particular script.
Being partisan because
yes,
this is
because the ADC has shown that, look, whatever argument you've brought before us, we have documents to back it up.
Exactly.
And as a neutral umpire, it is your duty to attend whatever activities going established by any political party, because there's a difference between party affairs and then national affairs. And the INEC is saddled with the responsibility to conduct, political
to monitor such convention.
not
attending that convention. They have failed in their legal function.
Statutory responsibility.
Exactly. It's mandatory function of the organization. In fact, it is the function of the Department of Legal Matters in INEC. There's that department.
And I'm sure ADC must have written to them.
That legal department have previously advised the current INEC chairman against taking certain steps in the past. Steps that if he dare takes, will plunge the INEC as an agency into disarray, which he did. And as we keep progressing towards 2027 election, I think the agency is falling deeper and deeper into the mire of complexities.
It's becoming more glaring in the eye of the storm.
Exactly. And the more it delves itself deeper in the mire, the more it is showing to the public that it is not an agency that can be trusted to conduct this election.
In fact, somebody jokingly said that INEC is more or less a political party than even an independent body.
There is unseen. Exactly.
And the way they are playing, the neutrality is in doubt.
Compromise.
It's questionable.
Exactly. That is why Aribeshola came out and spoke boldly. If you see the way he was speaking, you will see bitterness. Why will you not execute your mandatory function as an agency of government? There is a whole department that is having that responsibility.
They wrote a letter to them.
Definitely. These are very smart people. You know who Aribeshola is. Aribeshola wouldn't have dared make that statement if he knew that they are not holding any document that would support their claim.
So you will I be correct to say that ADC have played their own part?
They did. So what
is INEC's problem with ADC?
I don't even know. What I don't know, but what some other people are
Why saying, is INEC not attacking a court party?
That is what I'm trying to answer, one at a time. You see, I think what majority of Nigerians, what a lot of Nigerians are
other parties are there, Labour Party and the rest of them. INEC seems not to have, from what we are seeing, we have not seen any INEC, disturbing themselves over even the PDP convention that took place. Even the PDP convention that took place with a ruling from appeal court, not even a Supreme Court, went ahead and conducted.
Let me tell you something. It is glaringly clear that majority of the people on whose ideas, strength that the incumbent administration came into being are now in the ADC. The strength of the political big wigs of Nigeria, the political
that brought about the APC.
Exactly, that brought about the APC.
They are now in the
ADC.
So is that a threat?
It's a threat to the party. It's a threat to the party. And remember, the party needs somebody that can dictate matters in its own favor. That is why from the time that this new INEC chairman had been appointed, a lot of people have raised dust. His credibility had been questioned right from the time that he was appointed. And it's very clear to Nigerians that this guy, this person, this professor is not going to be neutral in his judgment.
Looking at the post,
exactly.
So post on his Twitter handle,
the SDP is not going to.
The ADC, you mean?
The SDP as a party is not a matter of concern to the ruling party. The LP for now is not a matter of concern to the ruling party, but the clear opposition party that has a greater tendency to challenge the ruling party for now, the incumbent administration, is the ADC.
That appears to be a force.
Exactly, that appears to be. In fact, it is the third force towards 2027 election. So it's the only party that's making the incumbent very, very uncomfortable. We don't have a problem with that, because that's actually what politics is all about. But we are unhappy when the agency that is responsible to be unbiased, neutral, and non-partisan is trying to be non-neutral, it's trying to be partisan, it's trying to be allowed to be used for certain.
The indicators are showing that.
The indicators are showing that. So I think I see a lot of challenges coming to the fore, I think, as we progress towards 2027 election. And I see a lot of dust coming up, particularly challenging situation for the ADC. Especially as the 2077 come very, very close.
Now, when you talk about the dust in question, a lot of dust. Don't you think this dust, the way the things are going now, is likely going to generate a lot of issues, social unrest? Some are saying that one man was just telling me jokingly that we should expect stronger protests. I said, how? Yes. People are going to that if the way the polity is going now, that if certain organizations do not do the right thing, there is going to the country might be pushed into having serious protests everywhere.
You see, political parties are only platforms. In a democracy, political parties are just mere platforms. They don't even matter. What actually matters is the electorate. People who will take all risks to go and vote, cast their vote, take their ballot paper, go to the polling unit and then cast their vote. This is the most dangerous, this is the most effective tool of a democracy. And once this particular group of people, the electorate, come together and say, our will must prevail, definitely, let me tell you something, that will must prevail. That is why in some quarters, it doesn't matter whether the governor is in a political party. Do you understand? What concerns citizens is what is our will? What direction are we deciding to chart now? So, looking at things that is currently happening as we approach 2027 election, Nigerians are coming out to cast their vote. Even people that initially don't want to go out and vote, like me now. Initially, I didn't want to go to vote. But with the way things are going, and with the trend now, I will go out and vote. And even in my age today, I'll make sure that I protect my vote too. And this is what Nigerians are planning to do this time around.
To die for their vote.
To die for their vote. And I'm telling you, both the INEC and the incumbent are aware of this.
So it could be the reason why there's so much drama and attempt to stifle the ADC.
Exactly. And that's why not to survive. Exactly. And that's why the opposition is bent on taking advantage of this situation. Not that they are any better anyway. Do you understand? But they will make sure that they take advantage of the feelings of the electorate now.
So what could be going on in the minds of the ruling party now? If you were to be, what do you think could be going on in the mind of the recent?
Some of the things that we are seeing happening are some of the things that is in their mind already.
Are they showing any sign of fear?
Of course they are. With the continued detention of key political figures.
When some people will say allegedly they have the soldiers, they have the police, they have the judiciary, they have why would they show any sense of fear?
Despite all that, that is why I told you that despite all that, the key important ingredient is the will of the electorate. You even mentioned that the electorate are now willing to die. I said, yes. Because those soldiers that you are talking about,
of the suffering, and
haven't you seen a situation whereby protests erupted, and then along the way, I think in one of these Asian countries, along the way, even the police that are sent, they became part of the protest too, because they were not happy with the situation.
Because the police killed their citizens.
Also biting. Yeah, exactly.
They also go. There's no special market for police.
I'm telling you, I can't. Which country is that?
There's no special market for the soldiers.
Exactly. I think is it.
We all buy the same Gary and beans.
They go to the same market. Their children and the children of the electorate go. In fact,
there's no special fuel station.
They themselves are part of the electorate. They themselves are part of the citizenry. Their salary is not good. Even when they were interviewing some of these people that time, they were saying that they are even responsible for sewing their uniform. One policeman said he bought this uniform by himself.
But that's not news now.
No,
an average policeman in this country, I want to say it clearly, hits himself.
So what we are saying here is that people have been praised to the wall. People are now requiring change. Do you understand? You see, when you are desperately wanting something, you can't even think of, okay, the person that I want to be there to replace this, is he even worth it? This is the situation that we are now forced to. Nigerians are no longer thinking that, no, the people that we want to see there, instead of coming out and missing, they are not even better than him, but we want him gone. Do you understand what the message?
And that's why they are calling for the resignation of the INEC chairman.
Exactly. And this INEC chairman is now in a
Can that be possible?
Position. I said it in my previous discussion with you that if I were to be him, I will honorably save my face and resign.
In this part of the divide, or this part of the, in this part of the world, we hardly see people in government offices resigning voluntarily.
You told us that will not happen.
We have this sit-tight syndrome, what we call in a local parlance, gridai. They die here.
And then the body language that we are seeing from the presidency is also, there are no any sign that the presidency is also going to relieve him of his job. So now the war is not between...
So despite the whole
now the battle,
call for his resignation?
Now the battle is not between the APC and the ADC or any other political party.
It's between who now?
The party is not between Nigerians and the incumbent administration / INEC. That's the handwriting I see on the wall.
The handwriting on the wall. That wall, we'll get to see that wall, and I know what that handwriting will be like. Okay. Now it is clear that ADC is becoming, or is as it were, the strongest opposition party now, because PDP
is sleeping, has gone to sleep.
PDP is just faded into oblivion.
No.
When they have faded into oblivion, allegedly.
Oblivion is that we can't even feel it, we can't even see it. For me, I would rather say...
Where is PDP?
They went to sleep.
How long? They took sleeping tablets?
The Oga is tired now. So they went to sleep.
Who is the Oga that is tired?
He went for recess now. The Oga has allocated plots of land to the judiciary and SUVs. So I think they went to sleep, they want to rest. You know, he's a genius. After that rest, you can see.
So they are on recess.
You can see the kind of ideas that will come up with. For now, I can't say they are faded into oblivion.
Well, remember, everything I think is allegedly.
You see, that PDP,
I want to believe it.
Listen now, my friend.
It's not listening.
That PDP used to be the strongest political party in Africa at one time.
It was a ruling party for 16 years.
Exactly. So you see, you can just not just assume that you can just go into oblivion, fade into oblivion. No.
I said allegedly anyway.
No, not even allegedly. No, they just went to rest. You know, the guy is a little bit tired because he was carrying so much weight on his shoulders.
And because the Turaki and the Makinde faction.
So he's there trying to, he went to the drawing table to come out with some ideas. He's a very great guy, very intelligent person and very hardworking guy. So you can give this to him, honestly speaking. You see, as a person,
yes,
I really admire Wiki. He's a strong-willed person. He's full of ideas. You understand? The only thing I don't like about him is his bullying ability.
You mean Mr. Project?
Bully. You see, he's wonderful in that too.
Yes, he has done fantastic well in terms of road construction.
Whatever negative thing you will say about them, there are so many admirable qualities about the two of them also, Wike and Erufai. When you talk bad about them in certain regards, you will also come to respect them and admire them about certain things.
I respect Wike without any apology to anybody.
So I think he just went to rest.
Look, the first time I went to Life Camp heading to Day, I saw the road.
Exactly.
I was looking at the one at Apo, Asokoro, and the man is doing well in terms of road infrastructure.
I'm telling you.
I commend him. I salute him. Like this, yes. I like his you know,
I like his sense of humor too.
That is dance I would like.
Yeah, that strong sense of humor as well. Strong.
You know, that dance has come to stay.
Sense of humor.
I like dancing it. I dance it too.
Let the session continue. So the party did not fall into oblivion. The boss is just.
No, I just said allegedly. Well, we do hope so. And
we want to see so many opposition parties. We don't want to see just two party or one party situation coming 2027 election. Well. Politics is interesting in Nigeria. You must agree with me. Yes, of course. It's interesting. And now, talking about politics being interesting now in Nigeria, can you give me a scenario of what you should be expecting now? 22nd of April. Yeah. 22nd of April. Exactly. Days from now. The Supreme Court will be ruling over some issues that have to do with the ADC. Yes. Do you see light at the end of the tunnel? These are part of the implications I just listed here because I don't want to forget any of them. Okay. One, we will witness high risk of disqualification, particularly in the ADC. High rate of disqualification? Yes. A candidate may decide to contest and even go for the election. Then the election may not be recognized by INEC simply because the INEC will now say, the convention is null and void because we did not monitor, we did not participate.
You mean after the ruling of 22nd of,
yes,
if the Supreme Court rules in favor of ADC, don't you think anything that is done by the ADC will be legitimate? Going fully whether the ADC presented, presented all documents and fulfilled all righteousness.
Exactly.
It is not, it behoves on INEC to non obey. In their own part, the ADC has also made it clear. Has the
court made the ruling so far?
Excuse me, the ADC have made it clear that INEC has no right to meddle into
intra-party affairs.
Intra-party affairs.
Intra-party
affairs.
Yes.
So I don't know, what are we hoping to see on the 22nd of April? That's what I'm trying to find out. Do we see the judiciary? Because the judiciary will be, Supreme Court will be under serious test on the 22nd, because people are waiting to watch and hear the outcome. If it goes in line of the suspicion, negative suspicion of the people. I think
sometimes you should wait and listen to the end of the
I'm listening, but
you're just cutting me before I finish.
Okay, go ahead.
You see, the party may decide to disqualify. Then any leader that emerges as a candidate from those party may change significant legal risk. But then again, the party will contest. It will say that, well, it is you that refused to attend the convention. We sent you a letter to that.
Exactly what my point.
But still, it has happened in Rivers State, like I told you. You understand? Somebody's picture and party do not appear on the ballot box, but he was declared candidate for the political party. Then deliberately, because all these INEC games has been taking place for long. So somebody from another party, they said, won the election simply because his name and name of party and picture appeared on the ballot paper. He was even sworn in as a governor. Then later the court judge said, no, it was the mistake of INEC that refused to put the sign, the picture of the PDP governor. So it's not the fault of the candidate. It was on that basis that Amici became governor of Rivers State. You understand? So although INEC may decide to argue and disqualify such candidate, but once the election has been done, the party will still win its election later on. That's the point I wanted to make clear.
Well, I think INEC is listening to everything being said. And I want to believe that INEC would also need to tread with caution.
Of course.
Because this politics has the capacity to put a nation in a very strong, social unrest.
Honestly. And that's exactly
even at the platform level, in our private lives and our phones. When you bring up political issues, you now start seeing people
talking bitterly about
people quarrel, friends fall apart. Like in my estate where I stay now, the political happenings in my estate has even degenerated to the extent where people who were friends 2 years ago are no longer friends.
No longer speaking.
They are no longer friends.
Wow.
Politics is as powerful as religion.
That is true. I can't argue with you on this.
So I want to appeal to, the umpire, INEC, should tread with caution. The way the country is going politically,
yes,
and the happenings and the body language and whatever body order or whatever
exhibited by the agency,
whatever verbal or non-verbal form of communication, direct or indirect, exhibited by the umpire, is raising a lot of concerns.
Honestly,
people, agitations, emotional reactions, and outbursts is building up.
Exactly.
So we are sitting like more or less like on a time bomb. Allegedly. So please, I'm appealing using this medium, P&B Morning Show, to appeal to INEC. Let the sleeping dog lie.
Exactly.
Tread with caution. Let's be professional in our doings and our dealings. Let's do what we think is lawful within the ambit of the law, and then allow the rest to rest. So, Mr. Chibok, any other thing you have to say before we wrap it up on this very topic?
Exactly. We also expect to see a lot of litigation and internal crisis. The leadership conflict between the present David Mark-Lake leadership and the group led by Nafi Bala, is still pending. So this may decide to treat.
That's April 22nd.
Yes, that's one scheduled for April 22nd.
I think so.
Exactly, and it is seemingly threatening the success of the 2027 permutation for the ADC. Because even now they could not sit down and talk because they are still waiting for the outcome of this decision. There are a lot of party issues that they need to sit down and agree upon But most of those things are now subject to the outcome of that court decision. So there are so many things. The convention in itself is one thing, but there are so many things that cannot be decided now by the party until some of those litigations have been taken care of. So once these things are cleared and it ended in the favor of the ADC current leadership, I think the ADC is good to go. And then it is at that point they will see that the incumbent will start feeling the shivers.
Okay, Mr. Shabu, we are going to end it here on this very topic. We shall be going on a short break, and when we return, we'll dive into the second topic of the day. This is P&B Morning Show. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this time off. All right, welcome back to the P&B Morning Show here in the city of Abuja. My name is Tichidi Kenneth, and I still have with me my colleague and co-host, Mr. Ibrahim Shaibu. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. CK. Once again, welcome viewers. Welcome back.
Okay, we are drifting away from ADC, all the issues, political brouhaha surrounding.
I like this word, brouhaha.
Brouhaha surrounding the ADC, INEC, ruling parties, opposition and what have you. Now we are going to dive into insecurity. We can't stop talking about it, more especially that today marks 12 years after the abduction of the Chibok Girls.
Yes.
The popular Chibok Girls. Was it, what's the number again?
The number of the girls, 276.
276, and now we have how many left?
I think about 88 that have still not returned.
88 or 87?
88. I think most of the research I made, I think it's only one that is signifying 89, but mostly I think they are 88.
All right, the prevailing insecurity on our nation has, dealt terribly in the lives of our citizens. You agree with me with that?
I do.
Okay. With reference to the Chibok Girls, and then 12 years after it happened in Borno State, somewhere in Nigeria, that the Chibok is in Borno. Am I correct?
Yes, I know the place very
well. I think
well.
Is it a federal government college or something?
No, it's a state government. It's a state school.
Yes, made up of girls.
Government Girls Secondary School, Chibok.
Now, Mr. Brian.
Southern Borno.
You are from Borno State.
Exactly. I'm partly from Borno, and I'm proudly partly from Borno.
Partly, so
partly from Kaduna.
Partly, okay, so will I be correct to call you quarter caste?
No, half caste.
All right, Mr. Brian, what has changed after 12 years?
Yeah.
Insecurity-wise.
Insecurity-wise,
yeah.
I think the situation has become even worse, sincerely speaking. Because when this insecurity crisis started about 25 years or about 2 decades ago, it was mainly in the northeast region and especially Borno. It hasn't even spilled to neighboring states like Adamawa, Bauchi at that time. It was restricted to Borno and partly to Yobe. Then gradually it began to eat deep into all northeastern states, including Adamawa, Taraba, Bauchi, Gombe, all regions of the northeast. Then as things going on, things started escalating and becoming deteriorated to the level that we found ourselves today in. Majority of Northwest region have been engulfed in insurgency and banditry. Today, even the north central state of Niger, Kwara, Kogi are being affected.
And then that's graduated into losing of soldiers now.
Exactly.
Generals.
Then even from that insurgency, we started to you see, even the banditry itself was born out of the insurgency. You understand? Initially, it was insurgency. Then from the insurgency, some people now left the insurgency, and then they found out that they can make more money in the banditry and they can be independent of any foreign influence. They decided to become bandit, and they began to shift places, shift bases. That's how the things started moving to the northwestern state, then gradually to the north central state. So you understand. So the discussion today is not about the banditry and insurgency in itself, but the central issue is about the Chibok girls. 276 Chibok girls were abducted from Government Girls Science Secondary School Chibok in the 14th of April, I think
12 years.
12 years back.
Yes.
So up till by the Boko Haram insurgent Islamists. Then till today, many were later released through the effort of the government, and both state and federal government, and even with the help of international organizations and bodies. Then some have escaped over the years by themselves without any attempt to help them by the government. They found a way to escape. Then, but up to today, there are more than 80, to be precise, about 88 that have still not returned. And then these have caused the girls themselves, their parents, their relatives, and their friends of these girls still struggling with pain, prolonged trauma, and hope that they may return. But up to today, we haven't seen them, and this is a matter
no hope in sight.
Exactly. So there are calls now for renewed accountability from the government to make sure that effort have been put in place to make sure that those 88 have been returned to their families and their states. And then even international communities are being praised and then being called upon to please let's exert greater effort in ensuring that those 88 more girls have been found and returned to the people. Yeah.
That 88 is such a huge number, to be in the hands of terrorists, and with the kind of modern hardware that we have today, detectors, drones, and the rest of them. Can't we track these girls?
You can't. You know why?
Why?
There were reports, some by, I think there was one very highly educated person from Chibok that is lecturing in one of the United States universities. I think he made a report about this. He was pointing to the fact that a lot of these girls have been sold into slavery, so you can't even trace them. Some were forcefully married to some of those Boko Haram kingpins or even foot soldiers. Some have died. So out of those 88, I think it's only few of that number that are still in the custody of the Boko Haram. They were sold into slavery and prostitution. Do you understand? So many of them. So how can you try to locate such individuals? You don't even know that some of those that were sold into slavery and prostitution, are they even still alive? That is why I mentioned prolonged trauma for them themselves. And even when some of these girls have been found, their psychology is no longer going to be normal.
They will never remain the same.
They will never remain the same.
12 years from now, most of them are grown-up women now.
Exactly.
Some of them should be 27 years,
some of them were in their early teens.
Yes, within the age of 16.
Between 16 to 22.
And when you add it up now, some of them are almost 30,
40, in their late
grown-up women now.
Yes.
With children, with babies. Now the question that brings me to the next question. Why girls?
You see, in that
why adopting girls? Some conspiracy theory might say that the reason is for reproduction. That those terrorists want to keep, bringing their kinds to this planet Earth by.
No, I don't think that is so, because from that time till now, whenever the Boko Haram want to get members, they go to villages and adopt young boys and train them. There's that issue of abduction. They knew, they are criminals. They knew that there was a flourishing market for sex, trafficking, women and sex trafficking organizations. They know that just that they can sell drugs, they can also sell women to slavery and the sex industry, international sex industry. After all, there are a lot of women that voluntarily travel to Libya, to Italy for prostitution, isn't it? They knew that there's money involved in that.
Commercial sex work.
Exactly. And then those who run these sex organizations,
This cartel.
Those cartels, they go out to buy people and turn them into sex machines. You know that. So the Boko Haram themselves knew also about that. And then at that time, that Chibok area used to be one of the red flag areas where they normally patronize, southern Borno area, where they normally found those Boko Haram. And they knew that there was a girls' school situated along that location. So they decided to just strike. And you see, up till today, the subsequent abduction of school girls in Nigeria have reinforced fears among families to the extent that it undermines confidence and safety of education. That is why, as we speak today, Northeast is greatly backward in girl child education.
As a result of this activity of the Boko Haram?
Not just Boko Haram, abduction of girls. Because after that, abduction of girls kept happening. Just recently, it happened about 6 or 7 months ago. It happened in, Kebbi State? They knew that there are money involved. And today now, all girls do not go to school any longer. Not even girls. In my state, Borno State, there are so many local governments whose schools have been closed. People can no longer go to schools. Not only girls, even the boys. But once you deny the girl child an education, you have already killed the society. When you educate one girl, you have educated a nation. When you educate one man, you just educate an individual. Girls, female, women are the live wire of every society. So when our girls are being abducted and sold into slavery, we have been forced to find ourselves in a very sorry situation. Unless the government begins to look at this thing seriously, our individuality, our existence as a human being is going to be greatly affected.
Okay, now you have mentioned so many factors and you have tried to explain, why the girl child. And I kept asking that question, has anything improved? Which you said nothing has improved.
Rather, it has gotten worse.
It's gotten worse now. Now 88 girls or 87 girls are nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found.
And after then, we've had kidnaps of other issues of kidnapping of girl child. Yes, again.
It has happened several times. It has happened in Kebbi. It has happened in Kaduna. It has happened in Kwara.
The same girl child.
The same girl child, yes. The same girls. So it is still happening. As it's only on rare occasion that they are being returned. And this spells doom for us as a nation. We need to protect our girls in this country.
And so most of them are sold mostly to enhance the trade that has to do with prostitution.
Yes.
Because some of these cartels and merchants come to buy these things.
Exactly.
And trafficking and
all those criminals work hand in hand. The insurgents, the sex and women the traffickers, drug cartels, the bandits, they are friends to one another. They see each other in the bush.
They work together hand in hand.
They work hand in hand, yes. They work hand in hand. They may be in the bush. They may see a insurgent group going along with girls. They may be there trying to shift their consignment. They will greet and say, "Okay, we can buy this thing off you." They will decide to sell. They meet, all of them in the bushes. They meet. They know themselves. So that is why it's absolutely very difficult to find those 88 that are still unaccounted for.
So how did you find ourselves in this kind of situation, Mr. Ibrahim? And what do you think? What advice do you have that can help bring us out of this situation?
Well, okay. The truth is that this Chibok Girls situation has exposed us not only to security failure of the government, but also to failure of a sustained attention. That is the inability of the government to begin to start and finish a project. Initially they show good sign of body movement that they are going to bring those girls. They keep saying that we are going to bring them, we are going to bring them. Until today, only a few of them have been brought back. So it exposes the failure of the sustained attention by the government. Then I think what the government should do is that it should intensify effort to locate those missing girls and ensure transparency and accountability of those girls. Then again, we need to call upon the United Nations and international communities to renew engagement and support coordinated effort to protect children and to safeguard their welfare and their education. Because before now, we used to see situations whereby situations like that would have been taken wholeheartedly by the United Nations and UNICEF. But particularly regarding girls' issues now in Nigeria, I don't think it is having any vibe, any attention from the international community. International communities in themselves are now after resources.
Not after protecting lives.
Not after protecting life and properties and even education. UNICEF used to be a very strong institution educationally in promoting the education of the children. But now you don't see them happen. You don't see their, you don't feel their activities. Yes, you don't feel their activities anymore. So now that the international organizations are more concerned with encouraging us to go and visit the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, to start taking loans. So that when we are unable to pay those loans, they will now come and say, okay, since you cannot pay this for this loan, let's go into partnerships regarding so material, so resources in your country. That's what is happening.
So are we likely to see this situation? Have we lost hope on those girls? Do you see any possibility of those 87 girls? What if it even though it is 30 returning?
As hopeful as I am always over things, in this particular situation, I can see the hope is very slim.
Very slim.
Yes, because of the reason I initially gave you, because most of these girls have been trafficked into sex slavery and other things.
They've been trafficked into slave trade.
Exactly, into slavery. Yes.
So there's no hope.
I can remember there was one time that the insurgent group is threatening government that if you don't assent to our demands, we are going to sell these girls to slavery. They openly said it at one time like that.
That means they know the market.
Then I told you they work hand in hand. All those different groups, the insurgent group, the terrorists, the drug traffickers, women traffickers, they work together. They know themselves. The bandits.
And these are human beings like me and you.
Exactly. Human being without conscience. Unlike you have a heart, you have conscience. I don't think they do.
All right, before we wrap it up for this morning, okay, what are your takes? What do you have to say to government? What do you think government can do in this situation for preventing it from happening going forward again?
Provide the necessary security around all girls' schools in Nigeria. Okay. And then exert greater effort in collaboration with other international agencies to continue the search for the missing girls, even if it requires going into deal with some of these terrorist organizations. Although I know international organizations always frown against that, and even the Nigerian government,
like we have in the Chile market.
Exactly. But unless we do that, the life of these girls are in threat. If serious commitment and effort is being put into place, I knew they can be found.
Can they de-radicalize these girls if they bring them back? Remove those traumas from them? Is it possible to rebrand these girls and bring them back to the house where they are?
Professionals can argue that
where they were before they were taken.
They cannot be 100% okay, but they may be reintegrated back to society and they may live a normal life. Although it may take time and effort and money. They may get professional training, professional help, I mean.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, for doing a yeoman's job on this topic. And our prayer is that those 88 girls, wherever they are, God will be with them and see how it can help them. And we keep remembering them.
Inshallah.
Just like yesterday, 14th of April marks the 12 years after their adoption. We keep talking about them to further show them that we love them. They are part of us. And I'm sure some of them, wherever they are, must be watching all these things, knowing that Nigerians are still talking. Probably we never can tell that one of them could see this, and then find our way back home.
Exactly.
All right, this is P&B Morning Show here in the city of Abuja, and this is where we're going to wrap it up for this morning on the morning show. My name is Chidi Kenneth. Please do find time to follow us on our various social media handles, and then we can continue the discussion. Let the discussion what?
Continue.
Let it continues. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same station. For now, bye, and do have a wonderful day ahead.